DNC and Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Madam Chairwoman, thanks for coming on.
Chuck. Thank you for having me, as always.
All right, where do signs here? We understand that Speaker Boehner and Eric Cantor, they met at the White House over the weekend. Where does the actual deal stand? Is all the negotiation going on taking place in the Senate and between House Republicans and the White House?
Well, the actual deal stands at Democrats, led by President Obama, being willing to put all of our sacred cows on the table, still pushing for a big deal to make sure that we can solve our nation's fiscal crisis over the short term and the long term. And on the Republican side, sadly, it seems that they are still only willing to insist on their dogmatic adherence to anything that makes sure that we protect millionaires and billionaires. The duck, dodge, and dismantle plan that we're going to vote on in the House today is the Ryan plan on steroids. It would end Medicare as we know it. It would potentially slash Social Security benefits, make sure that elected members of Congress avoid accountability by forcing decisions instead of requiring us to stand in front of our constituents and own up to the votes that we cast, which is what we were elected and what we're paid to do. It's totally irresponsible.
I want to ask you about something the president said on Friday when it comes to Medicare and this idea of means testing for all of Medicare. We know parts of it, I think, with the prescription drug benefit are means tested. Is it right for the president to put that on the table, and could you support that as part of the so-called grand bargain?
Well, what we're doing right now is trying to make sure that we can address our long-term and short-term deficit problems. We're trying to make sure that we can solve this problem in a big way. And the president has said repeatedly that he wants a big deal on the table. What we've got with the Republicans, again, is that they are willing to end Medicare as we know it and want to slash programs at the expense of the middle class and working families and small business owners and protect millionaires and billionaires. And again, Democrats are willing to put all of our sacred cows on the table, really be responsible and held accountable for that responsibility. And the Republicans want to protect millionaires.
So if there were a grand bargain and Republicans said, fine, we will put raising taxes on the top 1 or 2% on the table as well, you could support potentially a means testing of Medicare as the president came out for?
What the president has said and Democrats have said is that we need to protect benefits, that we don't need to be slashing benefits at the expense of middle-class folks, of seniors, of children, right. And that's what I'm going to continue to back him up on. I want to make sure that we solve this problem in a big way.
Sounds like you don't want to. You don't want to say where you are on this.
Chuck,
means
what I'll tell you,
I understand.
It doesn't appear that there's any danger
Florida
of the Republicans meeting us anywhere close to halfway. There isn't a single Republican that I've heard that is willing to say they would consider any revenue generated by a deal, and all they do is continue to dogmatically protect millionaires and billionaires.
Let me ask you about
irresponsible.
This stalemate that we all are watching from our point of view sometimes. You just said, you know what, I don't have to say what I'm for, essentially. I don't have to answer that question because there's no danger that somehow Republicans are going to put taxes on the wealthy out there. At some point, when does somebody have to say, Uncle, fine, here's the sacred cow I'm for. I'm truly for, and I'll do it. I'm not going to like it, and I know it's going to be make my base mad, but I'll do it.
On the contrary, Democrats, led by President Obama, have said that we need to put everything on the table. He put Social Security on the table. He put Medicare on the table.
Is it important to say, hey, you know what? This is our proposal on Social Security. We'll raise the retirement age. I mean, are you saying, because that's been the argument, some are saying, well, we don't know exactly what he's for.
Chuck, we have already made significant progress in addressing the solvency of Medicare. And, for example, in the Affordable Care Act, we added 8 years of solvency to Medicare, and we have other ways that we can do that in Social Security and Medicare. But we first have to have negotiating partners on the other end who are willing to actually put their sacred cows on the table. That's what a negotiation is. That's what we were elected to do. That's what the American people expect of us, so that they can hold us accountable. The duck, dodge, and dismantle plan is simply an abdication of responsibility. It's reckless. It would slash Social Security and Medicare. It would tie the Congress's hands, and that's not what we were sent here to do.
Couple of political notes. In Wisconsin today, the first of these recall state Senate elections hit the ballots. This one is not going to be as contentious as the one in August. What role is the DNC playing in these special elections?
Well, we have volunteers who are very active in all of the states. In Wisconsin, there's a lot of very motivated Democrats and motivated voters all across that state who are deeply concerned about Governor Walker's focus on harming workers, taking away their rights, not making sure that that benefits and salaries are not only adequate, but not dealing with the deficit and trying to blame working people.
Are you guys
instead
spending
of really
extra money? Are you
sending?
is the DNC sending extra money to Wisconsin right now for these elections?
The Wisconsin State Democratic Party is coordinating the efforts of the activists on the ground who are working on those campaigns, and we're proud of them. They're working really hard, and we think it's important that Wisconsin voters know that their governor would cut the legs out from under workers and blame them instead of dealing with their fiscal problems.
Now you emphasize the state party, so the DNC is sort of playing a hands-off role for now?
We're working with all of our state parties on their priorities, and Wisconsin is no exception.
All right. DNC Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democrat from the state of Florida, down there in Fort Lauderdale. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Chuck.